Your AI coding agent isn't bad at writing code. It's bad at remembering what you actually asked it to build. The plan lives in a chat window, and the second that chat scrolls away, so does the agent's understanding. One open source project bets the fix is almost old-fashioned. Write the spec first. And developers are listening. It just crossed 55,000 stars on GitHub, on a project less than a year old. You know the feeling. You describe a feature in chat, the agent starts strong, and then 3 steps in it forgets a decision you made 10 messages ago and quietly builds the wrong thing. The root cause is that your requirements only ever lived in the conversation. Chat history is fragile. The session ends, a teammate joins, and that shared understanding is simply gone. An AI is only as good as the context it can hold onto, and a scrollback buffer is the worst place to keep the truth. The alternative is an old idea with a new name, spec-driven development. Instead of coding from a vague prompt, you write a structured spec first, and the agent builds from that. The spec becomes the source of truth, and the code just follows. It flips the usual order. Normally, code is the real thing, and the docs rot in a folder. Here, the spec is the real thing, and the code is just its current implementation. The project leaning hardest into this is called OpenSpec. It's open source, free under the MIT license, and as of June 2026, it has over 55,000 GitHub stars on a repository less than a year old. It was built by a solo founder, Tabish, who came from helping grow a quantum computing startup, and it's part of Y Combinator's Winter 2026 batch. Here's a fun tell. Their YC page still brags about 20,000 stars, even though their own website already shows 55. The thing is growing faster than they can update their own marketing. OpenSpec isn't an app you switch to. You install it with one command, run init inside your project, and it works with whatever agent you already use, from Claude Code to Cursor to Codex, over 25 tools. And the whole system is just 3 steps: propose, apply, archive. You say propose, the agent plans the feature. You say apply, it builds it. You say archive, it files the finished work away. No API keys, no special servers. And setup is almost nothing. When you run init, OpenSpec scans your project, detects which agents you already use, and writes those 3 commands straight into them. The agent learns the workflow. You don't configure a thing. So what does the loop actually feel like? You type propose, add dark mode. The agent doesn't touch your code. It thinks for a moment, hands back a complete written plan, and says, ready for implementation. You skim the plan, fix anything that's off, and type apply. Now it builds, ticking off tasks one by one. When it's done, you type archive, and the change is filed away. Plan, build, file. Every single feature. The magic isn't what propose creates. The agent doesn't start coding. It creates a folder for the change and fills it with a plan, all in plain markdown. A proposal for why and what's changing, a design for the approach, a tasks list, and a specs folder holding the precise requirements. Sit with that for a second. Before a single line of real code exists, you and the agent share a written, reviewable plan. You agree on what to build before it builds it. That tasks file is the agent's to-do list, and it's brilliantly simple, a numbered checklist with checkboxes. As the agent finishes each step, it ticks the box. You watch progress in plain text, pause anytime, and the agent always knows where it left off because the list lives in the repo, not in its memory. Now, the most important piece, the specs themselves. This is where OpenSpec gets strict, on purpose. Every requirement follows a fixed shape. A requirement states what the system shall do in one clear sentence. Under it sit scenarios. When this happens, then the system does that. It reads like English, but it's structured enough for a machine to check. And that's the point. Make login better becomes a list of exact, testable behaviors. The agent can't hand-wave when the spec won't let it. Here's the clever bit in how changes are written. A change doesn't rewrite the whole spec. It records just the difference: added requirements, modified requirements, removed requirements. It's like a pull request, but for your intentions instead of your code. You review the change to the plan before any of it gets built. And when you archive, those deltas merge cleanly into the master specs. Here's what makes it compound. When you archive a finished change, OpenSpec doesn't delete it. It merges the new requirements into a living library of specs that stays permanently in your repo in version control, right next to the code. And that's the real trick. That spec library becomes the agent's long-term memory. Not chat history that evaporates, but durable context that survives across sessions, across people, across months. There's one more piece that ties straight back to something we've covered. OpenSpec ships a validate command that mechanically checks every spec is well-formed before the agent runs with it. It's the same principle as a good verification loop. The AI drafts the plan in words. Deterministic code checks the structure is sound. The model proposes. The validator enforces. Trust, but verify. OpenSpec isn't alone. GitHub has Spec Kit with over 100,000 stars, but it's heavier. More phases, more ceremony, a Python setup. Amazon has Kiro, which is powerful, but it's a heavier, full agentic coding environment, not a drop-in for the tools you already use. OpenSpec's whole pitch is the opposite. Stay lightweight, stay in plain markdown, and work with the tools you already have. Fluid, not rigid. So does any of this actually make you faster? Let's be honest, because it isn't magic. One engineer whose team actually uses OpenSpec put the downside well. For a one-line fix, writing a spec is like filing a building permit to hang a picture frame. The specs themselves need reviewing, which is its own work. And even a perfect spec can't force an agent to obey it. They still wander off. But for real features, that same team leans on spec first, and that's the honest verdict. For a quick fix, skip it. For a complex feature, across many sessions or many people, writing the spec first is how you stay in control. So step back. The real bottleneck in AI coding was never typing speed. It's a shared, durable understanding of what you're building, one that doesn't vanish when a chat window closes. OpenSpec's answer is to make that understanding a first-class file in your repo. And you don't even need their tool to steal the lesson. Next time an agent goes off the rails, don't just prompt harder. Start with a spec. If this finally made spec-driven development click for you, tell me in the comments and tell me which Y Combinator company I should break down next. I read every one.